As predicted, the Cubs went out and they added another outfielder to the mix for a spot on this club coming out of spring training. It's a guy that had some really big years in New York, Michael Conforto. What does that mean to the outfielder battle? And does that affect Matt Shaw? I think some people feel like it does. We're going to talk about spring training. It's been fun watching baseball games and getting closer and closer to the World Baseball Classic and, of course, the start of the regular season. Thank you guys for being here. Don't forget about our AveD home. Hit that QR code right there. We're going to follow March Madness together. You guys like sports. You like March Madness. We're going to be doing that. And then, of course, during the season, we will be allowing you guys a chance to pick the Cubs every night when we put our games up. All right, let's get this thing started. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. Great to see you. And, hey, do not forget to watch Beer Money with Cubs Hall of Famer Jody Davis. I know some of you guys are like, hey, haven't seen this show yet. We put a new episode out every Sunday. Jody's awesome. We talked about Harry Carey. We talked about Ron Santo. We talked about signing of Alex Bregman. All of that stuff on this show. It's going to be a lot of fun when we talk to him each week. And then we had Professor Mark Gonzalez Gonzo with us on Friday. So watch those shows, man. You're getting institutional knowledge thrown at you. So don't forget to watch. All right, let's talk about what's going on right now with the Cubs. And I want to start with the fact that the Cubs signed Michael Conforto to a minor league deal. Now, Conforto, you know him from some really big seasons with the New York Mets, right? Broke in 2015, and then by 2017, he was an all-star, hitting 27 home runs. He hit 28 home runs the next year. And then in 2019, he had his best season, 33 home runs, 92 runs driven in. And despite a bunch of strikeouts, you know, he's one of those guys that figures out how to get on base. He walks a ton, too. He's got a pretty solid on-base percentage. Ended up dealing with some injuries. I'm going to talk about that. Then a couple years with the Giants, and then last year was a disappointing season with the Dodgers. So the Cubs have signed him to a minor league contract. It includes, right, an invitation to spring training, and he's going to battle for the reserve outfield role, right? Base salary is $2 million. There's definitely performance bonuses included, and he could be a left-handed bench option for the Cubs, and then obviously somebody that can play the corner outfield spots, right? So this is a big value, I guess, if you're looking at it. I mean, Dodgers, $17 million last year, $18 million in his final year with the Giants, and now he's down to $2 million. But a lot of that has to do with his decline in production, right? 199 batting average, slugged 333 with the Dodgers, and then they didn't even put him on the World Series roster. That's kind of how they felt about his production, you know, when they went down the stretch, right? So for the Cubs, it's like, okay, we got Chas McCormick and we got Dylan Carlson fighting for the same spot. Kevin Alcantara is one of these guys as well. And then now this with Conforto, right? Conforto, the one of the reasons for the decline in production has been injuries, right? Left shoulder dislocation and tear, 2017. And had surgery that ended his season. You know, he had a hand injury that same year. Then in 2022, he suffered a shoulder injury in spring training, attempted to not have the surgery, and then underwent the surgery anyway in April. He missed the entire season, right? 2023 had a minor heel injury. And I mean, it's just to that point now with him where he's, you know, kind of dealing with that as he gets older in age, right? But look, you love the fact that he's a veteran, that he can play the corner outfield spots. He's really patient and disciplined at the plate. He's great, solid gap-to-gap power type guy, and he's just a professional batter, man. I mean, like when you put him at the plate, he just knows how to approach big league hitting, right? He's going to walk a lot. He's going to get on base. He's another one of these baseball IQ guys. And you stack these baseball IQ guys up on your roster, and you hope that they help you not just win games, but also educate the younger players on the team about how to continue to get better at the game. Alex Bregman's one of those guys. Conforto just seems to be really susceptible to high-velocity fastballs. And, like the inner half of the plate struggles sometimes against left-handed pitching. He's speed-wise, defensively, I wouldn't say that he's a top-end athlete anymore. Limited range when going after balls. And he's got average arm strength, right? So he's just kind of a veteran guy. Where would you put him in the lineup? Probably somewhere in the middle. But what the Cubs hope is that there's an opportunity here for a bounce back season. And I get what they're doing. They're basically figuring that, look, we have this spot. I think I've said it from the beginning that I think they want Alcantara to win this job because he's the guy that they traded for. He's been developed through their system. He would have obviously the window would be open for him a lot longer. There's a maturity issue with him that he's got to work through the Jaguar. Maybe he's worked on that, but there's also a lot of talent there. You got Matt Shaw, who I want to talk about here in a second, and then the other guys that we mentioned before that the Cubs went out and signed. So they want to have a really healthy competition for this spot. But, when you talk about Conforto, I mean, he's the bigger name of all these guys. He's had some really great seasons in the big leagues. And last year, it seemed like the Cubs were trying to sign these guys. Like, they really like these older dudes who, were kind of like Justin Turner type dude, like, hey, he's towards the end of his career, but we're going to put him on here and almost like an extra coach. I feel like the Cubs got to get past that and start to put these young guys on the roster and let them go. Now, there's been a lot of talk that if Conforto makes the team, then maybe that is Matt Shaw's spot on the roster. Maybe they're not confident that Shaw is going to be able to play the outfield and play it competitively. I tend to agree with that too. I mean, you can't tell me that Matt Shaw, who's been predominantly an infielder, is all of a sudden going to be this excellent outfielder or a serviceable outfielder that fast. I mean, he's going to have some games in the outfield. You're seeing that during spring training. He's out there. And Arizona is a tough place to play the outfield. Sometimes it gets really windy there. The sun is really bright. The sky's very high. And you play all those day games, right? But Wrigley's even tougher. I mean, you play a bunch of day games and it's windy, even windier. And sometimes it's cold, So, but I don't think this is going to take away the Cubs. I just don't think that Shaw's not going to make the team. I think that unless they put him in the minor leagues and say, hey, you're going to do a month and a half every day of outfield. You're going to play center. You're going to play left. You're going to play right. Now, I could see them doing that, but they're taking away the ability that he has to give you infield utility depth, right? So I just know it's tough for players to switch from the infield to the outfield. But I'll tell you, some of the best outfielders learn a lot how to play that position from batting practice. And I know it's not the real game, but one of the best I ever saw doing this was Sam Fuld, Sammy Baseball. You remember him. Now with the Phillies in their front office, but he came up through the Cubs system, and you remember all the diving catches. He took batting practice so seriously. Pete Crow Armstrong's the same way. When you watch the jumps that they work on during BP. Hey, he just wants to see where the ball hits the bat, and then he's going to run where he thinks it's going to end up and catch it. So maybe Shaw could figure out some of that there, but the problem is it just takes game action is different than batting practice. So we'll see what the adjustment period is. But I just can't. For me, I've read all these stories. Hey, Shaw, if Conforto makes it, maybe Shaw doesn't. I don't know that that's the same position that the Cubs. And I mean, look, some of that could be how many relievers you take. And I mean, there's a lot of other factors there. But to me, I just feel like Matt Shaw, if everything stays the same as it is right now, is going to find a way to make this roster. And so we'll be watching. We'll be watching. This is going to be one of those battles during spring training that's worth keeping an eye on. We knew that coming in. It's not a lot of roster battles right now for this team, but the outfield spot, that utility outfield spot, the reserve outfielder role, big one, because I don't think that there's a front runner right now. I think that, I guess I would say of anybody, it would be Alcantara, but you put Conforto in there, and if he looks like he's over the injuries and maybe he's motivated after, how things went with the Dodgers last year, and you think you could get some, another one of these years like he had, in New York with the Mets, maybe you give him a shot, and, and the Cubs seem to like those veteran guys. All right, final thing on today's show is Jonathon Long was injured and is out right now with a left elbow strain. Johnny Long, love this guy, first base prospect. He's a hitting machine. Jefferson Rojas, who's one of the Cubs' top prospects, threw a bad throw to first. He tried to reach for it, and the guy ran into his arm. Don't know how serious this is, but it's just unfortunate because I think that Long, the more at-bats that he has in front of Craig Counsell, in front of some of the Cubs brass, is going to impress them. I don't think the scouts like him that much. Maybe some do, but I think that they see some limitations. But I can remember guys like Lou Piniella, like, hey, if the guy can come in and hit and help us, let's do it. Joe Madden was that way, So maybe if he proves that the next step's going to be just like the other ones, where he's hit at every level, that he could win the Cubs over. But obviously, that's not going to happen now because of the injury. So anyway, again, AveD, Mick Nation, order your Cubs hat now, your Cubs baseball channel hat. We got those going. Let me see if I can pull one up for you guys to look at. Boom, there's one. We got Connor on this right now because some of you guys want hats. And we'll keep watching, and we're going to keep doing this every day. We'll also be having our bracket right here on AveD, so be part of that. And then we got some other really cool stuff in the works that could include some live shows, Wrigleyville, with a certain Cubs Hall of Famer that's on this channel. Leave it at that. All right, like, subscribe, get in the comments. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and you guys are getting us there, which is super cool. We got baseball every day. It's hard to find these spring training games, but I think after this stretch, we're going to have more on television. So like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys, and we'll do it again tomorrow.